Hi everybody, this is William from the Godzilla Files coming at you today with a review of Godzilla vs. Destoroyah. This is kind of going in line with the fact that I got an X Plus figure of Destoroyah, one that I've been looking for a very long time. So I thought, it'd be a good time to review the film as well. I'm going to give you, kind of points that I like about it, some things I didn't like about it. It's not a perfect film overall, but it's still probably a very fitting end to, at this point, the Godzilla series. So to kind of do a brief summary, this was the end of the Heisei films. This was originally going to be Godzilla versus a Ghost Godzilla from the 1954 film, which sounds like an interesting idea overall. I definitely would have liked to have seen that, but I also understand that I believe the producers or Toho themselves weren't keen on the idea because that would have been three Godzilla, almost Godzilla clones in a row that Godzilla would have to fight. He had fought Mecha Godzilla, Space Godzilla, and if he was to fight a Ghost Godzilla, they didn't think that would be too great. So, totally understand that. So, they started tying the monster to the Oxygen Destroyer, which I think is actually a pretty cool idea. I actually did like how everything kind of came back full circle. So brief summary of the film. Basically, Godzilla is nuclear reactor and it's melting down. That's how they kind of describe his heart and also just him in general. So once he melts down, basically he'll unleash a nuclear explosion that would wipe out the world. So obviously they're trying to stop that. In the meantime, all of a sudden microorganisms are being found and causing trouble for Japan. And this is kind of tied to the Oxygen Destroyer changing these microorganisms at a base level. So now they're becoming different from what they were. They were harmless up until that point. And as the film goes on, they evolve to what we see as Destoroyah. Another piece of this is Godzilla Jr. is there as well. So G-Force is trying to find him and see where he is and kind of keep track of all of this. And at the end of the film, as we go through, Destoroyah fights Godzilla Jr., fights Godzilla. Godzilla, defeats Destoroyah at the end and, spoiler alert, dies. And in his place is Godzilla Jr., who basically sucks up the radiation from Godzilla and is now fully grown. Godzilla Jr. was killed earlier in the film by Destoroyah. So, that's very brief. There's a lot of characters that I missed, human characters. But, again, I'm just trying to keep this brief because I want to talk about things I liked about the film. Alright, so some of the things that I liked about the film was, one, the Godzilla suit is pretty cool looking. Most people know it as Burning Godzilla, and it's an interesting take on the whole entire costume as they have seen it. Basically, it has orange spots all over him. You really do feel like he is breaking down. When he's swimming, you actually see smoke rising from him. It's a really well done suit that really captures what they were trying to do in this film. So, and when I talked about my top 10 suits, I talked about how I liked when suits really matched with the theme of the film or what they were trying to go for, and this is definitely one of them. It is a fan favorite. I totally understand why. I enjoy a lot of it. Everything with Godzilla looks amazing. Even Godzilla Jr. looks good. And I like the fact that Godzilla Jr. actually finally becomes like what his father is. In the Showa series, you had Menya, who never really looked like Godzilla. So, it just kind of, you didn't really sure that it was his son. You know what I mean? Like, this finally, as each Heisei series film went on, the baby Godzilla grew and grew and finally became Godzilla, or looked close enough to him. So I really did like that. The other kaiju to talk about is Destoroyah. He had different evolutions, and all of them did look pretty good. I liked the idea of all of them. I liked the fact that, you were able to he fought against the special forces on the ground. So that was an interesting take that we haven't seen in a Godzilla film before. So yeah, I like that idea. When he finally becomes his final form, looks like the devil, which I think most people would agree with. I mean, he comes out of the flames, he comes out of everything, and he looks like a total demon monster. And I do like that. One issue that I would say with him, and I think this is something that kind of affects all of the monsters in the Heisei series, is that he just might be a little too big. He can't really move around as much, so there's less movement comparatively to maybe the Showa series when it comes to their kaiju. But overall, all three suits look amazing, and you can't go wrong with them. But with that being said, the special effects are kind of a mixed bag. Unfortunately, for every cool shot, like when you're seeing Godzilla break down or when Godzilla is frozen, you have shots like, perfect example is Godzilla Jr. Godzilla Jr. in the film, his size changes drastically. When he's being carried off by Destoroyah, or when he's close to Godzilla, like it never really matches. It doesn't make sense. He looks too small, in my opinion. Another scene would be when Destoroyah is a giant crabs and he's fighting against the tanks and the laser guns. They just kind of all look like they're almost like one of those one of those gun games at a carnival that you shoot at things as they kind of go by. So those effects don't look that great, but for every one of those, you do also have really good ones. Like I like when the Destroyer was fighting against the special forces on the ground, like actual people. I thought that looked really good. I thought anything with Godzilla looked pretty good too, and I think they finally perfected the whole, screen of the city, in front, and then like the monster actually happening in the back. They actually did that with Hong Kong. I thought it actually looked really good. The past couple of films in this series, they were doing that, but it never felt like it was real. Like there was always felt like there was a disconnect between those things. So that was good. I mean, the miniature works were good for this whole entire film. I like the fact that the end had all the miniatures and everything like that. So I definitely really did enjoy all that. The tie-in to the original, it is great. It's not just with the idea of the Oxygen Destroyer. They bring back some characters as well, or tie new characters with the family members from the original series, from the original movie. So I do like that. I like that they would go back that far, and I think it's a fitting end to the series, kind of going back to where it started. So that's definitely a plus in my opinion. One thing I didn't really like was the Super X3. Super X2 was my favorite one out of the weapon series, but Super X3 kind of always just felt that it was just a flying jet. Like there didn't seem like anything special about it. I don't know. I thought the design was boring comparatively to what you had had in the past. I also thought it was very convenient that they had ice-based attacks. So I don't know. It didn't really do anything for me, and it's not even in the movie for that long, so it doesn't even matter. But it just kind of doesn't work, at least in my opinion. The music, I thought the music was great. Again, great stuff by Akira. I thought it all fit very well. Godzilla's, I love the opening when he's attacking Hong Kong, the music that plays there. That's great. I would definitely recommend looking that up when you have some time. Even the end credits. I watched all of the end credits because it played the original Godzilla theme with shots from all the other films in the series, and it's really good. The way they use all the music. When he's dying, they don't use his theme. It's actually a completely original piece of work, which ties very well with what's happening. It's a real touching piece, and that's something else to talk about. Is that the ending is actually pretty emotional. When you see Godzilla Jr. get killed by the Destoroyah, Godzilla's upset, when Godzilla's dying, all these emotions, and it's amazing because literally you're, I'm not going to say you're crying over this, but you are, upset. It is pretty sad to see, Godzilla dying and all this stuff happening, and it's just crazy that they can do that with a man in a rubber suit, that you have that emotional connection with this character, and it's done, respectfully, and it's all about Godzilla, which is a good thing. Some other things, I thought, I know I gave a brief summary of the whole entire film for him, but one other thing that I, kind of like is that there's a lot of plot lines going on in this film, between trying to stop Godzilla from breaking down, trying to find Godzilla Jr., dealing with the mystery of the microorganisms, which turns out to be Destoroyah, dealing with Destoroyah, trying not to create an oxygen destroyer to begin with. There's so much going on in this film, and it suffers from it a little bit, but some of it just seems there's almost a little bit too much. But again, the main focus is Godzilla, and that's, I think, the most important piece to this movie. Another thing I did like, even though I can't remember any of the human character names, I did actually like them all. I thought they were all, this was a good set of characters that they had. I did particularly like them. I felt that every action that they had was reasonable. It wasn't like they were, just doing things just to do them, so that's always a plus. And, I think overall this is a great film. I do really enjoy it. It's a great way to end the Heisei series. It gives us Destoroyah, which I think is a cool looking monster. Makes a great X Plus figure. Gives us a good suit in the Burning Godzilla, and pretty much does put a fitting end to the Godzilla series up until that point. So if there's one thing that it does perfectly, is that it does, I think it ends on a good note, which is so important for a series to do. But yeah, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think of Godzilla vs. Destoroyah down below in the comments. And if you like this, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, everybody. Talk to you all soon. Bye.